Well, I picked up a nickel-boron bolt carrier and bolt for the AR. This is actually AR-15 223 556. It's not the 7.62 by 39 one. But I got it from Palmetto Armory. The upper came from Palmetto Armory. It's a stainless steel barrel. Nothing really can rust out on this thing. One weak link. I know the gas tube can be kind of a weak link because it puts dirty gases. The gas it operates by the gas tube coming from in here, and if you can see it in there. Yeah, you can see it in there a little bit. The tube is right here, right there. It's this fits in there, and so the dirty gases get on the bolt. So where this thing can really jam up first, the first weak link, is the bolt gets dirty and jams up. And even if it gets dirty, if you just keep putting oil on it, it'll run a lot of rounds. But with the boron bolt, the nickel-boron bolt, you can run it pretty damn dry, and it'll work. It'll work. That's the big difference between a standard bolt and a nickel-boron. So that's like your first weak link in the AR-15. Now, honestly, they should freaking have nickel-boron bolt carriers and bolts, especially the bolt, with the military. I know it's chrome lined in here, but inside there, but it's like they don't really, they spend more money on I could say really stuff that's really high tech, but a lot of times it's sometimes it's garbage that doesn't freaking work out. There's a lot of people always trying to get their foot in the door for the military contracts. There's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse in a freaking military-industrial complex to the max. One thing that would work to improve the reliability of the individual weapon is this bolt carrier group. You think they would put this on all the rifles? No. I mean, I don't know. Kind of like aggravated at a lot of stuff because, sometimes you could say, well, we're spending money here and we're spending money here, but this is actually going to raise the reliability of this rifle up a lot, which it's already very reliable. But one of the problems they have is if you're running, if the bolt starts running dry and the weapon gets overheated. If this is like a military weapon, it's not. It's just a semi-automatic. But say it was a military weapon. That's in other words, when it's firing full automatic on the military, that's when the bolts start overheating and the things dry up and you get a jam. You want this nickel-boron bolt, Personally, I think they should actually have every single one of these weapons with this, plus the piston gas system, and eliminate the actual gas tube. Then this damn thing is about as it's going to be as reliable as all hell, really. All the freaking trillions of dollars they spend in the military, it's freaking. In other words, it's money that could be spent where it's going to work. And actually, this is a great upgrade for your rifle versus going a lot of other stuff. I took this damn red dot sight off of here. The battery went dead on it again, and I'm like, the hell with this. I'm going to probably put, if anything, I'm going to just put a good 2.5 power scope on there, maybe 2 to 4 power scope or something like that, a real small one that gathers a lot of light versus this garbage, because this red dot is a bunch of crap in a lot of ways, because you got to adjust it for daylight, you got to adjust it for nighttime, blink rate and all this garbage. I'm okay with the iron sights, and you can actually point shoot without even freaking using the sights if you're not even that far away, so it's ridiculous. One thing before you install this bolt, you want to make sure the gas rings aren't lined up. I'll show you what that is. You can see, you can barely see that. See, the 3 gas rings are almost lined up, man. That's pretty screwed up. I was almost going to throw it in there because normally they aren't. But, you know, they can line up after a while sometimes, but normally they don't. You want to stagger them like 120 degrees from each other at the start, and then they'll stay that way for a while. Normally they don't line up, as long as 2 of them aren't. If 2 of them are different, you know, the thing will seal up good. But if all 3, this is amazing. They're almost freaking perfectly lined, all 3 of them. I can't believe that. Good thing I checked that. See, these rings, you want to have them like staggered. So it actually, this bolt is the more important thing to be nickel-boron. So if you don't want to spend money on having the whole carrier group, nickel-boron plate, you know, nickel-boron, just get the bolt only. You'll be okay with that too. That's the main thing. Okay, so it's all oiled up and ready to go. Put it back together, you know. And actually, you know, I got a lot of leftover CLP, cleaner, lubricant, protectant, brake free. But you know what I always do? I've been making my own gun oil. It's synthetic transmission fluid. I use the Chrysler stuff, AT4, plus full synthetic Mobil 1. Just mix 50-50. And actually, you can use full synthetic Mobil 1, 50-50. It's a great gun oil. It's not, I mean, not 50-50, but I mean, not 50-50 weight, I meant to say. 50% transmission fluid, 50% Mobil 1, full synthetic. Great gun oil. You know, like I like using the synthetic transmission fluid because I know like AT4 for Chryslers is full synthetic fluid. Or you could just use plain Mobil 1 full synthetic oil. You don't need brake free or LSL or what, LSA or something, like whatever the hell that is again. Forgot what the hell you call it. So yeah, I'm leaving the damn stupid freaking what do you call it off of here? Yeah, it does go together good, just not one hand, not too good. But, you know, the pin, it actually, you know, I kind of like how it looks because you can tell at a glance, you know, if your bolt is getting really fouled up or something, or when you clean it, you could tell, you know, you got all the junk off of it versus, you know, this bolt here that's kind of like, you know, dark color. If it's full of carbon and stuff, you're not going to notice it as much. And I'm going to put it in this package, the old one, in this package right here, and just store it. So it's, you know, it's Palmetto State Armory from these guys. I like these guys; they're pretty damn good. I'm probably going to get this thing. Has actually killed the batteries on it a couple times. This red dot thing. I'm going to probably, like I said, you know, I don't like anything electronic. You will actually be able to pick up a lot more objects at night in low light. As long as your scope isn't extremely powerful, then you need an extremely big lens on the end of it to pick up the light. But if the scope is only, I don't know, say it's 2.5 power. If you're looking through a 2.5 power scope, it hardly looks like it's that much more powerful than looking with the naked eye. And you got a great field of vision, which is another damn thing. And it gathers a lot of light, which is probably what I'm going to do because this thing is kind of stupid, to tell you the truth, this red dot garbage. I never really liked anything electronic. Probably in the future, I'm going to probably get the kind that's got the, I don't know, they call it the free floating barrel or something. It's got this whole Picatinny rail thing on the top here. You know, I got these types because that's what I was used to, with the front side post containing the gas block. But then now they look at, you know, if I got to change the barrel on this, it's more work to knock out these pins and change that front sight. You know, you'd have to take the front sight post off. Versus if you had a separate gas block on there, you can just, you know, with some Loctite or something, you can change it out a lot easier. You can remove it a lot easier and reinstall it on a new barrel, you know, without pressing in pins and all this garbage like with this thing. Plus, I started thinking, you know, if you got that whole, you know, top piece that's all the same here is probably a lot faster to point shoot with too. So, because you know, if it's really close up, man, you're not going to be like, oh, where's my sight, front sight post, and get it, you know what I mean? When you're like using the sights, and you know, the front sight post is clear, the target's slightly fuzzy, and you know, that's like on a KD course, a known distant course, and the back ring aperture is slightly fuzzy. You're not, you know what I mean? You got to spend some time to be doing that crap. As a matter of fact, this thing probably should be, oh, it is flipped up. Yeah, I should put the big aperture up. Yeah. Yeah, I did have it up. Because it's a lot faster to sight in with the big aperture versus the smaller aperture than the supposed night sight, whatever you want to call it. So, anyway, you know, there's differences like when you got to use the damn thing quickly, and you know, if you're shooting on a rifle range for points, if you got to use it quickly, you know, you want to use the supposed night sight more or less. You know, you don't want to be screwing around with the the smaller aperture, because you could sight it in a lot quicker. And you know, I don't know, just the more bells and whistles you put on these rifles, it's total BS. I tell you the truth, like when I was shooting in the Marine Corps on a KD course, a known distance course, I always shot a high expert and actually got battalion high shooter, right? I didn't use any match ammo, didn't use leather sling, I didn't use like a shooting jacket, I didn't use a match grade rifle or anything like that. It was just all the standard stuff. So, you know, if you can hit a man-sized target from 500 meters, you know, 9 out of 10 times or 10 out of 10 times, or the dog target, I mean, you know, that's almost virtually all bullseyes I was hitting practically. Virtually. I wasn't 250 score, but I was over 240. It was 242. And I consistently shot in the 230s for the 13 years I was in. So, I mean, I didn't use anything special. But then again, that's a different kind of shooting than if you just got to react quick. Big difference. Big, big damn difference. So, but you know, all these bells and whistles they freaking people sell, like for the rifles, is actually freaking blatantly stupid, to tell you the truth. I think this nickel-boron bolt, you're never going to need it unless your weapon runs dry, or you're shooting like thousands of rounds or some crap like that. That's when it's going to come in handy. You don't even need that. But that would be the first upgrade I would get. And actually, well, the first upgrade I would get is the sling, because this actually steadies the weapon. Because you ain't going to be walking around with a bunch of sandbags to steady the weapon. This sling helps you greatly to shoot from offhand, kneeling, sitting, whatever the hell, any kind of position. That sling freaking really helps you steady the weapon a lot, a real lot. You're getting like you're making yourself into like a tripod when you got this sling. Where you wrap it around, you know. Basically, you put your hand through it like that, and like this. Okay, that's exactly how you do it. And if you have your elbow into your chest, you're a tripod. You're a tripod. This would actually be the best thing, freaking #1 right there. Also, really good magazines. That goes without saying, but then maybe I should say it. But, you know, going with all this other stuff they got, you know, the match grade trigger. I never shot a match grade trigger in my life. And I say, oh, you don't know what you're missing. Well, whatever. I shot damn good enough without one, you know. So what the hell, right? You know, so that's all I got to say about that. But the nickel-boron bolt carrier group, if your weapon runs dry, like this is the American and Russian survival channel. Your weapon runs dry, you don't have any oil or some crap, or you don't have the right oil. Maybe you're using vegetable oil or some shit. You're using dirty motor oil to freaking load your car, from your engine that you're freaking doing your rifle with. That nickel-boron bolt is going to help you out a lot, man, because it'll run dry. It can run. The weapon will still run dry. It won't malfunction anywhere near as easy as a standard bolt. So it is a worthwhile upgrade for sure.